Hey, Podcast America. Welcome to episode 78 of the Enlightened Neanderthals podcast. And we forgot to record our intro earlier, so you just got me here for a few minutes. We had our friend Kourtney Flemming on this episode. She is an employee of Benchmark Barrels, a precision rifle barrel maker right here in Arlington, Washington, which ties in real nicely with what we do at Training Northwest. And as a lot of you may know, we are a dealer of Vortex optics. And as such, we also offer the service that if you buy your optic from us, I will personally mount it on your rifle, make sure that it is correctly aligned to your bore, which is a big deal for those of you who are doing any kind of precision shooting, or even you hunters. Something I was recently made aware of is that 1 degree of off angle between your optic and your rifle can translate to 8 inches at 500 yards, which is a miss. So for those of you who are in the market for whether it's a hunting rifle optic or a self-defense style optic, especially if you're local in Western Washington, come see us, because at no extra charge, we mount it for you and we get you out on the range and we get you zeroed, because it sucks to have new equipment sitting on the shelf in your closet because you haven't had a chance to get it all set up and zeroed to your firearm. Also, we're going to have a beginner's course for new shooters and new hunters. Something I was made aware of when I took my older son to his hunter safety course is that a lot of people were there looking for some sort of basic firearm instruction, which you are not going to get at state-run hunter safety. We're going to have that coming up in December. I haven't set the exact date yet, but by the time you guys hear this, it should be up on the website at trainingnorthwestllc.com. Things we're going to cover are basic care and maintenance of your hunting rifle, how to load and unload it. We will get everybody zeroed at 100 yards. And then we're going to spend some time actually walking in the woods with your rifle, because that's how you're going to be either dangerous to yourself or not. So we'll get you some practical experience actually taking that thing out and walking around in the woods with it. I think that's all I have for this. Enjoy the episode, you guys.
Like me personally, or at the shop?
At the shop.
I think they might have done them in the past, but like we don't do much for rimfire chamberings.
Yeah, would make sense, I guess.
So yeah.
So on a scale of 1 to a million, how many millions of 1022s come through the custom rifle shop?
None here. I mean, I have a 1022.
0 millions?
We put a new
so
barrel
like a couple
online.
100,000?
Yeah. No, we get very little rebarrels on the 1022s. When you get into like the custom realm, like the chamber tolerances are so tight that like when you have a semi-automatic, it can be kind of finicky to get the right chamber that works with the different ammo and stuff. Yeah. And there are, for rimfires, just 22 long rifle, there are 100 different reamers to use for all the different ammo. So that's not really where we make really good barrels for that. But
I feel like she's saying the 1022 is an inferior firearm.
I like where this is going.
I might need to go get my gi out.
Oh, shit.
Jordan looks so upset.
What did they do with 22 round? Like, what are the different types of 22 rounds that they make?
Well, I mean, there's different match varieties. Like, so guys that are really dive deep into rimfire, which I'm not one of those people, so like I probably will say something wrong and they're gonna like
She just called Jordan a pussy.
But no, I mean there's guys that go this deep down the rabbit hole of 22 long rifle.
You can say it on this show.
And I mean there's so many different varieties of ammo, and guys that are really into it, they'll go to like Lapua and they'll test the ammo and they'll test out all these different lots, and then buy like a pallet of that same lot of ammo.
Okay. So do you do a lot of rimfire barrels for competition guns then?
Yeah, so we make just the 22 barrel itself, and then it goes to a gunsmith that's their bread and butter. They make 22 long rifles, and we've got a couple of guys that like set records and stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
So are you guys chambering specific to a ammunition manufacturer? Is that the idea?
That's what those guys are doing. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's there's just so many different options. You'd have to have.
So the chamber on the barrel is custom made for the brand of 22 long rifle ammunition that they're buying.
Yeah. One of the popular ones
that's
is
that's
like
tight
the
tolerances.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah, I mean they're just trying to get everything perfect. 22 long rifle ammo can only be so good, but I mean the stuff that these guys are shooting is match grade quality and stuff. But you have to really get everything else dialed in too to get the kind of accuracy that those guys are going for.
I do know that. I mean,
is 22 competition one of the most popular just because kids can do it? And
anybody can do it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
People with disabilities or, strength issues and stuff. I mean, it's cool because you
cheap
can have
ammo,
bench rest.
shorter range.
Yep.
Like we could legitimately have a 22 competition on our range, but you can only zero a center fire rifle there because it's only 100 yards. So hang on, we're back with our friend Kourtney Flemming, who works for, can we say the company name?
Yeah, absolutely.
Benchmark Barrels in Arlington, Washington. And she was on episode, it was one of our first 10, and it's actually to date one of our most successful, most downloaded episodes.
Really? That's cool.
Long range shooting with Kourtney Flemming. So for those of you guys who are newer to the show, go back. It's somewhere in there in the 1 to 10 range. You'll find that episode. What you got there, Jordan?
Bottle of hooch. Yep, just a little thing.
Little toilet wine.
Yeah.
There we go.
No big deal.
Okay, and so the reason I wanted to invite you back is because we just wrapped up hunting season, and I was stumbling around out in the woods thinking to myself, I'm so glad that for someone who I say don't get too wrapped around the axle about gear, that I have good warm and dry clothing, and that it's relatively lightweight. And I thought, you know what? If you want my money, if you're a manufacturer of equipment, give me warm, dry, and lightweight. Those are the three criteria for me spending big dollars. And I'm walking around there thinking this, and I look down at my gun, which is an absolute fucking boat anchor, and I was like, well, this is the next piece of equipment that needs to get replaced or upgraded or something. And I think for a 308 with a short barrel that has it goes transonic at only like 700 yards or something like that, which is not great performance. For it to weigh 15 pounds was unacceptable.
Well, it's okay to be trans now.
Yeah, you're right. Transonic.
Yeah.
Transonic.
Oh, my bad.
Jordan, you would understand what I'm saying had you made better life decisions and come to Montana with Greg and I to participate in long-range shooting training with our friend Tony Cowden.
Yeah, that was an invite that I really
just let slide right by you.
can just
let her fly right by.
I just
come on out, buddy. No thanks.
No, that's not exactly how it went, but
That's kind of how it went.
there was an invite and it hurt.
Yeah,
that I didn't go.
I think not.
But I didn't. What I did. Sorry to cut you off, Mike.
You're good.
What I didn't realize, because I'm retarded, is that the action is not. I thought the bolt was specific to the cartridge, and so I did not realize until very recently that she could just put a 6.5 Creedmoor barrel onto my rifle, upgrade the caliber, reduce the weight of it because all the weight is in that heavy steel barrel. So do you have a rough idea how many pounds that might reduce the weight of the rifle?
I do, yes. So the barrel that you had on there was like a Sendero. And so a Sendero without flutes is like 5.5 pounds.
Okay.
So you're going to be closer to that 3.5 pound range on just the barrel.
Okay.
So you're going to lose a couple pounds.
We're
right
dropping
there.
2 pounds right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next upgrade that you could do would be like a carbon fiber stock. And that would reduce
she
it
knows how
a
to take
couple more
my money.
pounds. I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
She showed me a bunch of photos. She's like, oh, yeah, these are our carbon fiber stocks. When I dropped my rifle off, and I was like, damn
Shit.
Like, oh, here's a rifle. Hold it. Feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine yourself shooting an animal with it.
I think you had a big awakening for hunting because you have that bull barrel 308 and it's nice. And I mean, for a tactical or to have as a self-defense and maybe need to reach out a little bit, that's a great gun. But when you got a backpack on and you're lugging all your home and your weapon through a mountain, like you said, pounds matter, but it's also, you're probably only going to be shooting maybe 1-2 shots. Having a big bull barrel and all this stuff for precision.
One shot, Mike.
Yeah, well, maybe.
We call him two-shot Kozak.
You got to see a deer first to shoot it,
Yeah,
though.
that's true. I saw all kinds of deer during elk season.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But yeah, it's a very eye-opening thing, and getting a weapon to be like I've got that Tika, a stainless steel T3, and I love it because it weighs nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's the old Ranger mentality, which is that just be stronger.
Yeah.
And at some point I realized I'm 44. I don't want to just be stronger, and I don't want to just be tougher and colder. I want to be warm and dry, and I want lightweight. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Well, what's cool about our carbon fiber barrels is, yeah, like I said, you'd lose about 2 pounds in weight essentially on that barrel alone. But the design of our carbon fiber barrels is, I would think, not that I think, we know because we've tested it, is superior. When we tested and created our barrels, we wanted accuracy because that's what our name is built off of, is accuracy over everything else. And so with that, the design of our carbon fiber barrels is different than all the other carbon fiber barrels on the market. You know, of course, there's proprietary things, so I can't tell you about all the details of it, but it's a stress-free design, and we have like a 19-point patent on it, so it's really cool, very
Bunch
unique.
of lackadaisical guys out there just designing it.
So by
Mellow as
stress free, does that mean that? Shut up. So by stress free, does that mean that the fibers are not under tension, so that if they take like a sharp edge strike, they pull apart?
No.
Okay.
It's more so like the steel barrel alone could shoot well. The carbon fiber,
As a
The
jacket.
insert, like even if the
Yeah.
carbon fiber fell away.
yeah, which it's not, but yes,
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. And
Okay.
so what that does is, because there's no stress in the steel, we do twice heat stress relief and cryogenically treat all of our barrels, our carbon fiber barrels included. And so that's a big deal. And as far as like reducing stress, but because that steel barrel is stress free, what you see a lot in some of these carbon fiber barrels from other manufacturers is when you start to shoot them, they start to have point of impact shift. We call it walking. And our barrels just don't have that until, I mean,
As
we
they
tested
heat
like
up.
20 rounds in a 300 Win Meg. Yeah. As they heat up, I mean, you could, guys shoot these in competitions and stuff too, you know, like the NRL Hunter and stuff, when you're shooting a higher round count and stuff and winning matches. So it's, I mean, they're very accurate.
And you're not having as much like of a mirage coming off of that barrel then? As well, or?
Mirage, so. Yeah, I mean, you get some with a fluted barrel too, or carbon fiber. One of the things is the resin in carbon fiber actually like can hold heat in.
Yeah.
So like a steel barrel, like in a big bull barrel, is better for that.
Okay, I got you. Interesting.
I know nothing about guns.
I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, I'm so glad she's our friend.
Do they still? So the inside of it is steel. Do they line that steel with any? Like, didn't they used to do? Was it chrome? or
That's
something?
common in like military weapons and stuff. Chrome lining. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Why?
It's to make them last longer and be resistant to corrosion. Yeah, exactly. Where, you know, the military stuff gets cheap ammo and things like that. Yeah. None of our barrels do that because it's not as good for accuracy.
That chrome screws it up.
The chrome is for the Marines to clean off.
Yeah, exactly.
And they will all laugh because they know exactly what I mean. Is they will be stuck sitting there with a fucking bore brush and a cleaning rod with some asshole telling them to clean the fucking chrome out of their barrels.
Yeah, no, it's you know, anything when our barrels are completed, I mean, they're good to go. You don't want to put anything inside of them. You know, it's going to change the dimensions. It's going to change the overall
You are the third
polish.
person who knows their shit who has said, don't fuck with your barrel.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I think people don't believe me when they come out to the Training Northwest, like carbine classes, and ask about it. And I said, when it's brand new, go ahead and run a rod through it and then, like dry patch it, and then don't fuck with it again.
Right. Well, I'm not saying don't clean it.
Oh, I am.
I definitely. So one of the things that you can run into if you don't clean like rifles of our variety enough is called a carbon ring. And
Are you telling me you're giving me a barrel that has to be cleaned?
it does have to be
Son of a
cleaned.
bitch.
Not every time you use it, but it should be cleaned. You know, I clean it when I was shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor, like every couple of matches, and matches can be 300 rounds or something like that.
Shit.
So it's not
pretty good.
Yeah, and some people clean more and some people clean less.
300 rounds out of a hunting rifle is like
Yeah, he's never cleaning it.
Yeah, my kids will have to do that.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Hopefully, out at your range, you're shooting more than that, though, right?
Yeah.
you got distance and stuff. That's fun.
Yeah. Actually, now we do. I'm actually going out there tomorrow to do a little bit of scouting because I've got some ideas.
Awesome. That's exciting.
What are you when you guys are like? What's the process of making those barrels? Because there's like cold hammer forged, and then there's like the button press, and you guys don't do any of that kind of button press bullshit, right? Or do you?
So we actually offer two different methods. So what our business started off of 20 years ago was button rifling.
Okay,
and so
it's a wonderful process.
Button rifling gets a bad rep because it is a method that, if not done fully to the extent that we do, there can be residual stress in the barrels and they cannot shoot as good. Okay. But I mean, our reputation over the last 20 years is built off of our button rifle barrels.
Okay.
And it's
never mind.
It's it's every process. It's not just the lapping. It's not just the heat stress relief. All of the processes together produce a high quality barrel, but you have to do all of those processes to the best that you possibly can. So getting good dimensions when you're drilling them and reaming them. And we actually have a hone that can go and polish the barrels to the millionth decimal. Actually,
Jeez,
the capability of that machine is amazing. And so then the barrels are rifled after they're honed, so you have a solid dimension. At that point, we used to a long time ago pre-lap, so you'd go by hand and get that dimension. So now we have that hone that really gets that dimension accurate, which is really important for our cut rifling process that we also offer now. And so that goes in and it cuts out the smallest amount on each groove every pass. So it takes a lot longer to rifle that process, less lapping, where the button rifling process is a minute to rifle a barrel, but a lot longer lapping.
How long have you worked for them?
Like 8 years, I think, something like that.
Shit.
It's been a while.
Has it been like seeing the technology get better for like precision milling instead of, you used to take, I don't know, maybe you took a gun to a machinist, but I mean, for precision milling, but now you're able to do it, like you said, within a millionth of, I don't know, a centimeter or whatever, millimeter, whatever it is.
Yeah, an inch, yeah.
But that's 5 decimal places.
I was just going to say, that's the metric system.
But it have just in that time you've seen like that stuff come into play for making this. Does that translate into more accurate, like it's a more dramatic jump in accuracy?
I think it's more like consistency and then just getting your like production nailed down. You know
Flowing
what I mean? Yeah. Just getting that production better. Yeah. Like button rifling and cut rifling, it's an ancient technology. Cut rifling, they used to like pull it by hand.
Oh, no shit.
Each crazy thing. Yeah. It's if you look up the history of it, it's actually really cool. But now we're using CNC machines where we can put a gain twist into the barrel. We can tell it exactly the depth to cut and all those different things.
I was going to ask about that. Is that where the riflings become tighter toward the end of the barrel?
Yeah. So the spin of the rifling gets faster towards the end of the barrel.
So you're actually accelerating the spin of the round down. Okay.
Yep.
What is, I was just made aware of this like 2 days ago. What is the benefit, or what is the idea behind that?
So, I can't remember, there was an article or a story published a long time ago, where a guy did a study as far as like, what's going to give you the best accuracy. And so as long as the bullet's spinning at the same speed or maybe a little bit faster when it exits the barrel, that produced consistently the most accurate barrels. And so getting that spin, ensuring that it's not slowing down before it exits, really just amplifies that accuracy and make sure that the bullet's going straight and everything.
Okay, so the spin, it gives there's a delta in the spin, a positive delta, so it's increasing its rotation as it leaves the barrel. Is that the idea, rather than becoming stagnant if the rifle barrelings are constant? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
did they use before rifling? Like a smooth bore?
A musket.
Muzzle loaders.
Yeah.
And that was, I was talking to Brent the other day, and that was the difference between like a a trained soldier and a woodsman in the Revolutionary Wars. The soldiers were using smoothbore muskets that had an effective range of like 45 yards, as opposed to the woodsmen had the earliest rifles that had riflings in their barrels, and they're fighting like the Indians, hiding in the woods and shooting from 150 yards.
But they're still putting a ball in
Still
and packing.
muzzle loading.
Still
Yeah.
Huh.
So the earliest rifled barrels were in muzzle loaders.
How did they rifle a barrel back in the day?
That's a great
Like
question.
Poland.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But-
that technology of cut rifling, like they had it on a big rod. I believe I saw pictures of it, so I could be wrong. So
Is it
don't
like
fact check me.
You're pulling
but
the rod through the barrel?
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
So
cutting?
you'd cut it, and it had a cutter, and you just like pull it through.
Gotta be strong as shit.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, gun
Done a
making
couple myself.
Just
sucked
pulled
back
a
in the
few
day.
yourself.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
You want a 26-inch barrel? Let's talk about 18.
Let's talk about 3-inch. Yeah. First pistol. God. Yeah, it's crazy how much guns have developed.
And I have gone full in. I'm full in on nerding out on shooting long range after that weekend in Montana. It's so much fun.
It's really cool.
And I don't think I'm going to, I'm not interested in putting together a heavy competition like chassis type gun. I want a flyweight hunting rifle that can still hit at 1,000 yards. What's the word? Consistently. So that's probably where I'm headed in the next year.
Yeah.
But step one is just getting a deer rifle that doesn't weigh
1,000 pounds.
Yeah, like my deer rifle weighs more than this 300 Win Mag that I took elk hunting.
Jesus.
Not quite.
You gotta change
The 300 is also a boat anchor.
It's got a really long barrel on it.
Very thick,
Heavy.
long. Hey, what?
Hey,
Oh, that's why they gave it to me. All right, it all makes sense now.
he nicknamed it Jordan.
Oh man. So when it comes to is it NRL that is the competition it's more focused on hunting, or am I there's a couple, it's PRS and NRL, and I can't keep it straight what is what.
Yeah, so NRL and PRS both have like the regular competition shoots that they do or whatever, but the NRL has their hunter series,
Okay.
which is a little bit more geared towards the hunting aspect.
Okay.
What's
So-
different?
I've never shot one, so I couldn't tell you exactly. I know that they have different weight categories, whereas like I don't know that there's like any weight categories in just the standard NRL. I know that they have like open, and then they'll have like the tactical, which is 308, and that limits, the bullet weight and stuff. So you're only shooting against people who are shooting something similar to you. But as far as like open, you can shoot whatever. But for the NRL, they have like like an off-the-shelf rifle, a factory rifle category, which is cool.
That's what I can afford.
So then you're competing against people who are shooting that, or that's kind of like what you're going to hunt with, and so you can get like some real-world experience with that long-range hunting. And then they have like categories that are like more heavy and weight restrictions, and then they have like the power factor, which is like your bullet weight and velocity, some type of equation.
Yeah.
Just trying to get people more even, but they're grouped up to where it's not like you're shooting your 22.
It's like the
Yeah.
NASCAR.
Your
the
22 long
NASCAR
rifle.
effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
We want
But
everyone to be
you were
even.
saying last time you were on that the hunter group, it's a fun group of guys.
So that was
What
the
that?
field matches.
field matches, yeah.
So those are like a lot there was like Colville, Montana, and I think they did some in Idaho too, and of course, Washington, Colville, and the guys that put those on, they're the best. It's a smaller group of people, and less like career shooters, and more
Less
just like
uptight,
guys
more
like
fun.
us, and so
We should
it's
sign
fun.
up.
Oh,
Because you
I've
were
already.
saying that's a
I
group
was
of three?
talking to
Yeah.
what's your coworker,
Bill,
Thank you,
my
Bill,
boss.
Bill, I made sure Bill knew that we're in.
Yeah. Oh, I'll
Cool.
set aside some time. We'll go.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll get a bunch of guys to go from the shop too, and it'll be super fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in for that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Although we may lower your standings in the rankings.
You shoot individually. That's not my
what the
problem.
fuck is up with these guys you brought, Kourtney?
This is not a team sport.
Benchmark Barrels just took last place. Who are these fucking clowns?
Bring a bunch of rimfire for my 30-06.
Hey guys,
I got a 1022.
it's gonna work.
You can't take a 30-06. Sorry.
What? Why not?
I do
Because
like
it's
that
too
you
powerful.
Listen, Mike, there was a moment of appreciation I've had for you when I realized that you bought a brand new rifle with your grandfather's ammunition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest bullet I knew back in the day.
Oh, okay.
I thought that would kill an elk over a 308. So I took a 30-aught. What's wrong with the 30-06?
To be fair, we were actually talking about this with Tony in Montana. Between the 30-06 and the 243 cartridge have probably killed more deer than any others in American history.
I shot like my first 6 deer with a 243.
Yeah. And but what Tony was saying is these new bullets, like the 6.5 PRC and the 7 PRC, they have you notice the casings are getting shorter and fatter and the bullets are getting longer and skinnier. So it's a far more aerodynamic design that retains all of its impact energy out to further distances and also remains stable, not transonic, at longer ranges. So that's why the 308 and the 30-06 and the 270 and the 243 are sort of getting outpaced, is not because...
So the 270 will never be outpaced.
Jordan takes that one personally too.
A 22 and a 270, it's all you really need.
It's all you really need, man. You might be right. Just because the newer profile of the new bullets it's ballistically superior. Not that you are going to outshoot the 30-06 round. Okay, that's the other thing is it's like you can get so nerdy on gear and specs and this and that.
Old Tobin coming out.
Then, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is the remnants of a guy.
You also got to ask yourself.
He's warm in his kitchen right now. You start getting a little cold. You're like, this shit really matters.
What? I need a puffy jacket. Yeah. If your skill can't outperform the round, then it's a moot point anyway.
Yeah.
But as far as for like shooting a competition like that, I don't think that they'll let you. That's all. Yeah. I think they like limited at short action cartridges.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. For that specific one, you can shoot the extreme long range and then you can get into some more powerful stuff where the 30-06 would be outshot by a lot of stuff. But I mean, yeah, as far as like a hunting round, I mean, I have one of those too. I've shot a few deer with a 30-06 and it does a good job.
Doesn't work.
Yes.
My
it is
dad,
effective.
We went to Wyoming and he shot 3 antelope with a 30-06 that was 185 grains.
I'll do it.
Those things dropped so fast. It was like, it's a 130-pound animal and just it was like, Dad.
It crossed my mind that because I like the trigger on that 300 Win Mag, I kind of at some point I was like, I wonder if I should just use this for deer season with lighter loads. But
lots of people do.
Yeah. Do they really?
Yeah.
That seems like
it's a little overkill.
Yeah.
But you can shoot lighter bullets like 150.
150.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. The
puts them down.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I realized like the difference, like true, like seeing it happen in real time was he was shooting 185 grain 30-06 and I was shooting 135 grain 270 and like that the 270 was like, this is just right. Like this is everything you need for this. Mm-hmm. And he was just blowing them apart.
Yeah.
Like, son of a bitch.
A lot of, yeah.
Yeah. So that was my introduction into like, you need to size this specifically for your animal.
Mm-hmm.
See, but that's the world I came from. Like I got into shooting due to hunting, and it's like my mentality is
put them down.
Yeah, I want the most damage, destruction kind of thing. I've never really.
You're not wrong when you think about it. Because think about Dan chasing that fucking deer all night, not finding it. Mm. There's something to be said for just putting it down.
Yeah. That's heartbreaking when that happens.
He was fine. He was okay. Don't worry. Yeah, he healed.
Him or the deer?
him only. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Are you going and getting a barrel? Are you doing the whole setup right now?
Yes. So my barrel this is actually a great point because I didn't realize this. If you are ordering a fancy barrel, there's a lead time, significant lead time. So I'm glad I did it immediately following the season because it's going to take up to how many months?
Oh,
I don't want to misquote. It's the only reason I'm asking.
We're hoping to get this improved, and we've been seeing barrels coming through, but we're still quoting about 12 months for a carbon
12
fiber
months.
barrel.
So this is a good
Oh,
conversation.
are you getting a carbon fiber barrel?
Yeah. 6.5 Creedmoor,
yeah.
bud. Yeah.
Only the best.
Girlfriend.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Carbon fiber,
Dude, I'm gonna have to
6.5
step up my
Creedmoor.
game.
Yeah, you are.
Tobin's walking
motherfucker.
around with nice shit.
I'll be prancing.
Yeah, well,
prancing.
Yeah,
Walking
well,
my ass.
Yeah, he's gonna sashay his way up the mountain.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So okay, so you're just getting just a barrel, or
Barrel and a brake, muzzle brake, which holy shit, that 300 Win Mag, that shout out Wes. My friend Wes had it in his closet, didn't use it, so he sent it up here for me. And it beat the fucking living daylights out of me when I went out and zeroed it. So I called Kourtney. I said, how hard is it to thread this barrel and put a brake on? And you guys did it in like 3 hours or something like that.
Nice.
And
Sometimes we can.
Yeah. And now its recoil is comparable to an AR-15.
Yeah.
Really?
It makes a significant difference.
And now it's fun to shoot it.
you got to carry around some earplugs? Though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. So she's putting a carbon fiber barrel, a muzzle brake. We're changing the rail adapter to give it the 20 MOA angle, and she's cleaning up the trigger.
By she, not me. I just write up the work order.
She is telling somebody to do this.
Yes, it's better that way.
So where I was going with that, though, is that there's lead times on all of this stuff. So if you are in the same boat as I am, where you're thinking about new equipment for next hunting season, it's time.
Yeah.
And that we might as well talk for a second about Vortex Optics, because if you're local and you buy Vortex Optics from me at Training Northwest while you're having Kourtney upgrade your rifle, then you can have by next hunting season is when you're going to have this rifle all put together and ready to go. So don't sleep on it. And then 3 weeks before deer season next year, be like, you know what? It's time, because it's not time.
No.
The time is right now.
The time is right now. Yeah, exactly. And it's not even just like the barrel. Like if you're doing a full custom build, like the actions can take 12 months to get to. So, some people are like, oh, a barrel takes this long. It's like, it's not just the barrel, guys. Come on. Stocks can take 6 to 8 months if you have to order it.
Right now. It's the
is.
same thing for electrical equipment, like panels and switchboards and stuff. It's 44-week lead time if you want to order a new breaker panel.
Crazy.
Did you say you're keeping the same trigger?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's going to get a little work done. It's going to polished.
Yeah, those old Remington triggers are actually pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it has like no creep in it. And so it just needs to be
whatsoever.
lightened a little bit.
It's got a little
Just the
bit.
guy pulling.
Prancing and caressing out there in the woods.
What is common for triggers? Because this is something I've been thinking a lot about. Is maybe changing the trigger on my Tika. Probably change it.
Are we talking about your emotional trigger or your mechanical?
Yeah, snakes are my trigger. But what do you do? Do you recommend like what is it? 2-stage triggers where it's got the little break
The
in
wall
it,
in it?
the wall, and then it's
I think it's, let her in.
They're not terrible. I mean, it's just whatever you're comfortable with. There's nothing wrong
it's all
with
preference. Like
Yeah.
a competition,
Personal choice.
there's
Absolutely.
not one dominating the other.
it. No, not at all. No.
Well,
Whatever you want.
In a carbine, I like the first and second stage, because it gives you that little bit of play,
yeah.
so that when you're moving fast and making like those split second shoot no shoot decisions, you have that's your time to
Make
sort
that
of like
decision.
make this
Their own
like
thought
yeah,
process.
Exactly. You're closing in your sight picture, you're making your decision, you're finding the wall, and it's either go or no go. Whereas with a precision rifle, you're slow. You're laying on your belly, you're breathing, you're working through this whole process. And I like knowing that as soon as I lay my finger on the trigger, that's the wall.
Has trigger technology developed more? Like there, I mean, it's all just pull and it fires, right? I mean, there's nothing new to reinvent the wheel on that, is there?
I
There's
don't
quality.
know.
There's
But
quality.
Well, yeah, like
yeah.
anything.
There are good
performance.
triggers and there are bad triggers. And if I took you out and let you feel the difference between the two, you'd be like, holy shit.
Well, one of the best trigger designs ever made is the Model 70 trigger.
Real.
Fucking Winchester 70 boys.
Yeah, I mean it's a super reliable, solid trigger. If you could could put that in like a Remington 700. Like, I mean, that's a great trigger. But I mean,
you don't like the Mauser action?
Well, the Mauser's good too. Yeah. But I mean, if you like went with a Mauser,
it's a good size, Jordan.
It's a little outdated, but like Ted Courageous down at American Rifle Company, he made an action called the Mousing Field, which is like a Frankenstein of a Mauser, a Springfield, and a Remington 700. So it's got like the pros of all of those actions combined. It's really an incredible action, yeah. And it's made right here in Mukilteo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I'll check that out.
Yeah, you should. So it takes like a Remington 700 trigger, which is cool. The Remington 700 triggers used to be like a bunch of pieces, like you'd pop the pins out and then there'd be like springs and stuff going everywhere. And now they're all in a housing. So it makes it really easy to take them out and stuff and
swap them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of AR-15s-esque.
Yeah, exactly.
Cartridge
really cool.
triggers are nice.
It is nice. Yep. So if you run into something, you can just pop up the old one out and put a new one in. But like Trigger Tech, I think that I don't know the technology behind their triggers, but I know that they like use ball bearings and stuff in the design of their triggers. So that is a little bit different.
It smoother
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't know any of the details behind it.
Ball bearing trigger. That sounds complicated.
Yeah.
I always thought a thumb trigger. If you could get it because
like a thumb throttle.
Yeah, just kind of if you could click it almost. I feel like
an archery trigger on there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of what, because like when you're holding the gun and you're starting to pull, like it curls everything. If you could push down.
I don't even put my fingers on the hand grip anymore.
Yeah,
the only thing I touch the rifle with is my right thumb, and then let that trigger finger sit there, and everything else is open
and relaxed.
So.
Just like archery.
Yeah, you should have like a stock that's conducive to that as well. Like your traditional rifle stock, your hands at this angle. If you go with something like more vertical pistol grip, like an AR or a pistol, like that puts your hand in a much better position to have your trigger finger be relaxed.
Especially if you're on your belly, essentially reaching up over your head and then try to crank your wrist down and get your cheek on the stock. Like having that close to vertical pistol grip style is
ideal.
Yeah.
What about a thumb hole stock?
Those are good. And a lot of the new hunter stuff, like a lot of the hunting rifles.
We call those bunghole stocks.
My 30-06, my thumb hole. I'm not going anywhere.
Thumb
on this
hole
podcast.
30-06 with the Mannlicher stock out to the end.
Let's put a hole for my thumb to go in.
Which honestly is still going to put your hand vertical,
at that
which is fine.
Angle.
And a lot of the new hunting rifles now are making more vertical hand grip. They're not using that traditional swept back style. They're putting it still looks like a traditional stock with the exception that the little pistol grip part is more vertical.
Yeah.
That thumb hole stock was an accident.
Was it really?
Yeah, the guy carved a stock and it had a knot
like a
in
knot?
it, and it fell out.
And
then he was like,
"This is the shit.
I'm going to stick my thumb in there."
Hopefully that's all that went in there.
No, I'm just joking. I have no fucking clue.
That was a great story.
Like, really?
You had us all.
No, he was hunting and he was like, I'm going to stuck his thumb up there. So yeah, bunghole stock is exactly it.
Yeah. What the new stocks kind of do is they have like a little shelf for your thumb to sit in, like next to the tang of the action, like the back of it. So your thumb can just sit there relaxed instead of like having it wrapped around like this. It kind of like puts another stress on it. So having it here, so your hand's just like really in a nice relaxed position is the most ideal. Like MPA, they have competition chassis and they made a really cool pistol grip that goes on their chassis and it adds a perfect thumb shelf. So your thumb just sits like that.
Really?
Yeah. That's what they're doing.
I always thought you wanted your thumb like attached to your fingers and just to pull here and keep your thumb forward of the stock altogether and not rested on anything, but just rested on your hand. Is that not?
I mean, I think it's just more about it being in a relaxed position rather than it being like in a, it has to be here or whatever.
At all.
Yeah. Just being in a nice forward, relaxed position.
I see. Okay. That makes sense.
That's what I think anyway.
She looked disappointed in you when you asked that question.
Yeah, hey, she was just like, "Shut the fuck up, dude." You know what you're talking about? I was like, hey, look, normally I have this hole I stick it in.
Yeah.
Can't
Well,
help
it's
it.
weird to hear.
I don't know what to do with my thumb.
It's weird to hear all this stuff because it's like archery over the past 20 years has grown in leaps and bounds with releases, back tensioner releases, just everything's changing. Guns don't seem, I mean, yes, the carbon fiber, the technologies are
Materials
changing.
are getting there.
Materials are
Materials are
different.
changing. The big change is the ballistics and the rounds.
Optics.
And optics.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still curious about like the button barrel stuff, because I always thought that when you were pulling a button barrel, you're like ripping almost, and like I would imagine you guys have some sort of patent that like makes it to where you're not doing that, or maybe
Well, there's
it
just
does
a
rip it,
design.
and then you pull a couple times, lap it after, and
No ripping. We don't want that. So that
Yeah.
means that something's going wrong in the process.
tooling's getting old,
Or you're not using the proper lubricants or whatever.
Do you know how many times you guys use your tooling before you change it out, or?
No, I don't know that. I mean, you can use them for a long time because they're coated.
Yeah.
And then we use a good lubricant as well.
Okay.
So, and then usually before they wear out, like you'll have a button pop off the end or whatever, because they're just a little tiny button that's like, an inch and a half, and then that has the rifling, that has the twist rate designed in it. It has the depth of the groove and the diameter and everything, and so then it's on the end of a big rod, and so you just pull that through the barrel under pressure, and so no tearing. What it does is it displaces the material. So instead of removing any material, it displaces it.
Oh,
Is it hot?
Nope.
Oh,
Nope. It uses hydraulics and it just pulls it
so
through with that lubricant.
Okay. This is not a human being pulling this thing.
Oh
through.
goodness, no.
Okay.
We have
Okay.
a machine that does it.
My
There's
next
a
question
human
was
being
going to
that
be
controls
like,
the
can you
handle.
guys describe this process? Because I'm picturing like
How
some
big is this guy's
gigantic.
lats?
Yeah, exactly.
Some jack
Or
meat
this,
head.
this is what Tyler does all day. He's
no shit.
in his forge, fucking pulling threading tools through steel barrels.
Right, yeah.
So that it's all in the tooling then.
Everything is set in the tooling. Yep. And then you have like a cam that has like a cord on it that determines how quickly it spins or something.
The rotation at the end is kind of what I was curious about, is how that, if you guys are button pulling, like, is that a button? What would you call that?
Yep, button pulling. Yeah.
So as that's happening, like, and you're speeding it up towards the end,
So we don't speed those up at the end. It is what it is. It's
Okay.
one continuous twist rate.
Okay.
The cut rifling is
So
the one that we're
that's
able
where you're
to
able to
do a
get it.
gain twist. Yeah.
now is that like the technology is obviously newer, right? In doing that, would you say that's superior to or is it just you go either way? You're gonna have
It's a production enhancement.
You're gonna have a good quality barrel no matter what
Absolutely.
from you guys. But I'm just thinking, like, if you're gonna buy the top of the line, like, is that kind of the new hotness that's going out right now? Is like that increased
The gain twist.
gain twist?
Yeah, kind of.
I've never heard of it before just a second ago. So.
Yeah. I mean, the guys that are like in deep in the long range and stuff, like, yeah, they talk about gain twist and stuff, and left-handed twist. Usually, like, the industry standard is a right-handed twist. And those are cool things that we can do with the cut rifling machines that we couldn't do with the button rifling machines. And so, more than anything, it's a production enhancement. But then also, like, there's companies that were cut rifle companies, and they really just push, like, cut rifle's so much better, like, they shoot so much better and stuff, when our barrels are right next to them doing the same things that theirs are doing. And, like, I always tell our customers, like, I could give you two rifles exactly the same, but one has a cut rifle barrel and one has a button rifle barrel, and you're literally never going to know the difference, because we employ all of those top of the line procedures to ensure the utmost accuracy of our barrels. But that being said, it's a production enhancement. We can change the twist rate at the push of a button, where if it's a button barrel and like this new bullet comes out and they want a 7 1/4 twist 25 caliber, like, we have to order a whole new button for that, and then we have to check it and make sure that it's going to react correctly, because you are displacing material. Like, you could order this button and then run it through and it gives you bad internal dimensions, and then you have to order a whole new button, and those are a couple $100 a piece, where I could just push a button, do here you go.
Yeah.
With the cut rifling. So it's a major production enhancement. And then, like I said, it also allows us to market to the customers that wouldn't buy button barrels because they were told that the cut rifle is so much better.
I guess that's where I come from, but it's funny because the only barrels that I have that aren't button barrels are AR-15 barrels. Let's be honest. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
So I have that, like, in my mind from YouTube videos or whatever, that, like, button barrels are inferior, but every barrel I've shot that I can't outshoot is that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yep. We just, with the stress relieving and the hand lapping and stuff, you're going to have a hard time finding a cut barrel that shoots better. Well, each barrel is different. Of course you're going to get stellar button barrels and you get stellar cut rifle barrels, but
I didn't realize that it doesn't remove material when you do that.
It just moves it around.
That's crazy. Like I did not know that. I thought it was like ripping material out, not just like creating
threading
trenches.
Generally. Threading does involve cutting material away. So I thought the same thing, that you're getting long ribbons of like basically threaded metal peeling out of this barrel. But
literally nothing comes out of them. Nope. It just pushes it around. Cut rifling, you get, a bunch of chips because you're removing materials from it.
But then lapping that's when you start.
You're not going to see any really material coming out. It's just going to be like a dark tinge to your patch or whatever. But they're going in.
What's lapping then?
So lapping, we take lead, we pour lead, and then we put a compound, an abrasive compound on it, and then we put it through the finished barrel after it's been rifled and contoured and everything. This is the last step before final inspection when they ship. Okay. And that goes in and it polishes them up, but not too polished, because if you get too polished, then you can have increase in resistance. And then you want it polished but not too polished, and then it just goes and it takes any remaining machining marks that might be out. It fine-tunes dimensions and all that. So these guys are trained like artesian guys that like you don't hire people that know how to do that, so we have to train them, and they have a feel for like a light taper or making the barrel straight, or this barrel, it's not coming out right. It's reverse taper. So, we have to remake it. So, those guys, they're fine tuning the barrel at the last process. And like, we rely on them a lot to like, know like, okay, these machining marks are not acceptable. Like this barrel has to be remade, or you have to keep working on it, or the dimensions are too big or too small or whatever. Like we have really, really high expectations for them, and our quality is super high. And so, if it doesn't come out there, then that's the end of that barrel.
Are those guys the like final QA QC guys, or is it go to another step?
It usually goes on to another step in shipping. Yeah. Wow. And then they get a final QC after that, but they're doing a lot of inspecting in that process. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you're like putting hands on, like actually feeling how, that's pretty cool.
That's incredible. Yeah. It's human really touch cool. Is the final product.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. That's, it's just like, you could probably make a machine to do something like that, but it's pretty hard. Like that hone replaced the pre-lapping that we used to do. So we used to do that 2 times in production, but it's just, you have a lot more of that hand touch that's necessary at that last stage.
Do you know you've been there for 8 years, I assume you do, but like you get a raw piece of metal. What's the process as you're building? And obviously it's going to be different from like the barrels that are carbon fiber to other ones, but like in general, what's the process of like going through?
So without, giving away any trade secrets or anything like that, we start with a raw, inch 200 or inch 280 piece of material. And they're long pieces that come on a big semi truck. We cut them to length. We heat treat them. We drill them. Then we ream them, then we hone them, then they're rifled, contoured. And if they need flutes, they get flutes, and then they're lapped, inspected, and shipped.
When you're adding carbon.
Oh, and they're cryo treated in there too. But yeah.
and lavender oil is spritzed on
massaged.
Yeah. Talk to them about their emotions.
Is there when you're wrapping in carbon, you were saying that barrel without carbon can shoot. Is that not the industry standard then? Like that you guys are like getting into like some pretty cool stuff. And how does that?
We definitely are cool stuff. Yeah.
How does that testing go? Like you guys got a couple guys that go out and like, we're going to give this a shot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the owner and then like our R&D guy, like his good friend Lucas, they go out and they do a lot of that testing and stuff. They just shoot a lot of rounds through it. They do a lot of hunting and stuff too. So that they actually took barrels with carbon fiber on them to Tajikistan a year ago and shot ibex with them. Tajikistan.
Oh. Yeah. You can't just make countries up.
No.
What's that flag look like?
No clue. But yeah, so I mean, these guys are really testing them out. And we have, our sponsored shooters shooting them at matches and stuff. So they're really putting them through the ringer. But I mean, before we ever put them out, we wanted to make sure that they they stood up to our expectations. And so, yeah, they went out and they shot a bunch through them and tested them and stuff. But yeah, a lot of the other manufacturers, their barrel underneath the carbon fiber is so tiny because they're, trying to do everything they can to get as much weight as possible off that. I mean, yeah, you could shoot through it, but it's going to be
questionable.
Yeah. It's not going to be the greatest accuracy. Like, yeah, ours would still be accurate. Yeah. Yeah.
Is the U.S. the leader in gun technology? I mean,
which part?
All of it. The thumb trigger.
The thumb hole stock.
Who do I talk to about the thumb trigger?
No, but I mean for accuracy.
Hang on, thumb hole stock with a thumb trigger.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. We're going to go bankrupt immediately once we start our company.
You're going to get a lot of people that don't have a...
It's never been more accidental discharges in the entire history of the firearm industry.
It's racist against guys without thumbs. But I mean, like, I'm trying to think, like, you see some Scandinavian countries do hunting and stuff like that. I mean, New Zealand hunting's big, but I'm just trying to think for like precision shooting or long distance shooting. Like,
who's producing the best shit?
Yeah.
I've got to say the U.S. We have just the most consumers, so I think they're going to get the most information and data back from people. In other countries, of course, in Europe and stuff, there's Germany. I think at one time had some pretty good development stuff too.
Yeah, and I was
SIGs in Germany.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Benelli in Italy.
Yeah.
I was just nerding out on Bergara rifles the other day. They're made in Spain, I think.
Okay.
So a lot of them are international, I guess.
It doesn't Benelli just mainly do shotguns though?
No, they have the Lupo, and they also have Franchi. And Franchi, they have the I can't remember the name of the rifle, but yeah, no, they have got some pretty good rifles. Yeah.
And did they do like a 6.5 or did they do some weird British round?
No, they did standard cartridges. Yeah, they might do other rounds for like other countries and stuff, but the guns that are in the U.S., I have 308, 6.5 Creedmoor.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the Lupos are really nice, actually. We've been working on putting some barrels on some of those.
Lupo,
Lupo. Lupo.
The wolf.
Is that what it means?
Must. I mean, lupine is wolf in Latin, right?
Look at you.
You son of a bitch.
You guys didn't know that?
Yeah. Teed it
I
up
can't
for him.
read.
Yeah.
All right.
So how'd your I know how these guys hunting season went.
What?
How'd yours go?
Well, it was successful. I shot my biggest blacktail I've shot, which is a 3x4. It's a really nice deer.
That's
yes.
a big blacktail.
It is a big blacktail. Yeah. He's very handsome. But it's been different for me the last couple years since I had my son. I can't dedicate, a ton of time to being up in the mountains. Like, to me, like I shot a really nice 2-point blacktail in the mountains a couple years ago, and that was more of a trophy to me than this deer. Like, I'm super grateful and proud of the deer that I shot, but like it really wasn't.
He was behind the Denny's.
Yeah, like we have a lot of property that we live on, and so there's a lot of deer out there, so it wasn't much of a hunting trip or experience, but I'm super grateful for the meat having the freeze there at the end of the day. I'd have shot anything, with antlers. Any legal buck, he's not safe, but but I got a nice buck, and it was a cool experience. They always are, and but yeah, it's just different. Next year I think I'll be able to dedicate some more time to actually being in the mountains and hunting.
Yeah. How old's your son now then?
He's a year and a half.
Okay. So are you going to start taking him on little hunts here and there, or like what's going on with that?
Well, we're going to
carry your
try
own shit.
that. Yeah. I took him backpacking this summer and he pulled my hair and screamed at me. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Just leave him with his dad.
Yeah.
My dad, he and I hunt a lot together, and so he was going up hunting one morning without me and actually hit a deer on the highway on his way up deer hunting. So total destruct, but he was okay. So we got some more deer meat.
I was going to say, did you tag it? Yeah. It's tenderized, boys.
Yes. It was a really good big doe.
I actually have a friend who hit an elk in his car while I was out elk hunting.
Did you really?
Last week. Yeah.
Really? Did he?
No, it didn't kill the animal. It dented up his car.
Oh.
It was like a side swipe.
You gotta go faster. Yeah.
Put it in reverse and finish it off.
He missed. Let's be honest, he
And
missed.
you pull out the pistol and just go to town.
Right?
No, I was dead. I just put it out of finisher.
Yeah.
What do you use round-wise when you hunt? What's your caliber?
I have a 6.5 Creedmoor that I like, but I have a 30-06 that I shot my nice blacktail in the mountains with a couple years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Interesting. Who makes the barrel on that? Was that a benchmark barrel?
yes.
Or was it? Okay. So they do make a 30-06, Mike.
Might have to get some custom.
You
action.
don't want to let those 8 surplus rounds go to waste.
Yeah, right.
You got to hang on to that 30-06 for life, buddy.
Yeah, I actually built that gun for that purpose, or like close encounters with bear, hunting bear and stuff, where I'm going to be like hunting in an area where I'm going to be limited to like 200 yards. That's what my 30-06 was built for. And then I have a 7 rem mag for, reaching out
there.
Yeah.
You guys do too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Don't need one.
7mm. Well, I'll tell you, my 7mm rim mag. The
Oh, you
trigger-
do have one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I have a 300.
I know you have that. Yeah.
Yeah. The trigger started, would just
Functioning.
malfunction.
What is it?
It's a thumb trigger.
Thumb hole stock thumb
what's
trigger.
the rifle?
It was a 700.
Oh, Remington?
Basically,
We could
booby
fix
trap.
that.
And it was, and it would go. I took it apart.
Oh, fuck,
I was,
it would
I
go
was like,
off?
there's-
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was like
Oh,
so.
shit.
You would they could rack it right without loading around in there, and set it on the truck, and then all of a sudden, click. I
Oh.
was like, what the fuck? That's scary.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was weird.
There's a big
It was
recall
real.
on Remington 700
It was
triggers.
around that time.
Yeah.
It was like 2000. It was like 2000.
Jesus.
Jordan's
It
gun's going
bankrupted him,
off
I
in his
think.
safe.
Yeah, it was like 2008.
Yeah.
Something like it
Holy
was right
crap.
around that time when that
Yeah.
was happened, 2011, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So I took it all the way apart and just put it all scattered in pieces.
Threw it at the bottom of the lake.
Did you replace the trigger
I
ever?
didn't. No, I just took it all the way apart. I was like, I'm never using this again.
So
because-
you have an unused Remington action then and a barrel.
No, I have the barrel. The action is no longer with us.
I see.
was like, fuck this thing.
Oh, you got rid of it?
Yeah, I just didn't want to. I was too
Oh,
scared
it's just
to
the trigger. That was the only problem.
It didn't
The
matter
action's
to me.
perfectly fine.
Yeah, well, I got rid of it all. I was just like, I'm not doing this again. So yeah, now I don't have a 7mm anymore. But oh well.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever mod out anything unusual like a 30-30 or anything?
No, we stick to bolt action rifles.
Just for
Yeah.
precision.
Yeah, bolt action rifles. I mean, for hunting and stuff too, but yeah,
You guys
just
putting any shotguns together lately?
no.
Twist gain is what you want.
Twist game.
That
and
cross rifling,
I'm gonna need a carbon fiber.
Do you duck hunt?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I love to duck hunt. And we're going to get my son out duck hunting this year.
It's a blast.
The kid blows on a duck call and then he hands it to me so that I can blow on it.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
That's good.
Awesome.
Yes, I love duck hunting. I got a bird dog, all the things. Yeah.
Lap.
Lab. Yeah. She's a chocolate lab.
Oh, really?
Her name is Wiley.
Wiley.
That's a good name.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really good name.
Did you go through training with her? Or
I trained her myself.
did
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. We've had 2 labs before her. The one was my husband's before we got together. And then we got one together and she actually died a year ago last month. Yeah. Which was really hard because that dog was the most unbelievably easy to train, smart, best hunting dog ever. I mean, she was amazing. So Wiley got to kind of learn from her and then,
okay.
yeah.
How old's Wiley?
She's like 7 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So she's in
Okay,
her
so she's
prime.
been around.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Good to go.
Yeah.
What's the process like for that?
To train a hunting dog?
Well, to train duck dog, because I have a upland dog, but not a.
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm an expert. I get it good enough.
Yeah, well, go get duck.
Yeah. So
Go, come, stay. That's-
Yep.
yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And then I think that they just kind of experience and learn on the go. As far as like finding birds and stuff. They just they learn to trust you. So if you tell them like back, and give them a direction, or if you whistle at them and tell them, over in either direction, hand signals and stuff, like if they learn to trust you, like they'll go where you tell them to go. And then if they just know to like connect their nose to their eyeballs, like then that's when it really connects. Like a lot of dogs, they'll just run around looking. It's like connect your nose to your eyes.
That's what my dog is. Like trying to look through a bunch of like geese out there. Like, it's just like I have a video of my dog. I took my dog duck hunting and we were on a snow goose hunt and he's sitting in the blind. He's like looking at me and like, all right, here we go, guys. We'll find out what happens, and just let him out. And he ran and like did like a big circle around the decoys. And then he's like, there it is. All right, fucking let's go. And then he just kind of like walked back. I was like, you are not a fucking retriever. Like, you are absolutely not a retriever.
Like, this is bull crap.
Yeah. So were you like running marks, or like how'd you go about training the dog and doing all that?
We would basically like, we'd go hunting and we'd bring a bird back. Like when I first started training my first dog, we'd bring a bird back, and I just like got her used to the taste of the duck and retrieving it and learning to like bring it back. Like some people will like have their dog hold it and while they, make them sit and then give it to you and stuff. Like I'm not that strict with my dog. Like it's good enough where it's like,
get it close to me.
Yep. Well, no, she brings it to me and gives it to me, but like you don't have to sit and hold it until like I'm like, okay, now you can get rid of it. Like my father-in-law, he's got a knack for training bird dogs, and he can do all that stuff. Yeah, he read I think Dawkins wrote a book. Tom Dawkins, I think his name was. He does a lot of bird dog stuff. I think that's his name, but I'm not sure. Dawkins. But anyways, he read as I think it's called Bird Dog, and it's just an educational book on how to train a bird dog. Okay. For waterfowl, I think. Yeah, I never read it. I just, like I said, I just got it good enough. I'm not an expert on that.
Well, it's kind of interesting though. You've had 3 now, and you're saying that one trains better than the others. It's kind of crazy how like certain dogs take to it,
and they're all 3
like,
labs.
Holy shit! Like it's a big difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Wiley is good and she loves it. She's just so energetic. She just sits and she just like wants to whine and like run around and stuff. Yeah. And if you're not shooting birds, like she's so mad at you. Like she looks at you and just
be
like,
better, Jordan.
But the other dog, she'd just sit quietly in the blind and look at the sky, and like you knew if a bird was coming from behind you because she'd be looking at it.
Oh, really?
Like she was just amazing. Cool. She found she'd find birds, that blind retrieves and stuff just naturally on her own. Like I am no dog trainer. She just like figured that out on her own. You know, I'm like, I know there's a bird out there. Like, go find it. And she'd just, work and find it. Yeah. She just had a natural.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she like one of the ones where you hit the safety and she's like gets turned on? Or she's like,
yeah. You click the safety and they're like,
oh,
don't move.
It's gonna happen.
And like even when she's watching the birds, like she like would watch them through her eyes. Like she wouldn't move her head and stuff. Like she was the coolest dog.
Yeah. Awesome.
It was really cool.
Did you get her from a breeder in Washington? Or?
Yeah, but it was just like a backyard breeder.
No shit. Okay. Well, that's awesome.
It was
that's
really
like,
lucky.
It's kind of crazy how people spend fucking
thousands on a pedigree dog. When really,
she was an $800 dog.
But then at the same time, people will spend $800 on a dog and be like, "Son of a bitch, this dog won't hunt for stuff. Not worth feeding."
Yeah, exactly. No, she was amazing. She did. She never got any like hip dysplasia or anything like that, but she blew both of her knees out when she was 6 years old, and so we had to replace her knees like right when she was in her prime, and that like she definitely was not. She was the same mentally, but like physically, like we just couldn't hunt her.
Like
that's where I'm
human
at right
knee
now,
replacement?
Yeah, it's basically like tearing your ACL is what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is what it was. Yeah. So yeah, she was just an incredible dog, and she'd hunt like her chest would be bleeding from breaking ice, and she wouldn't want to stop. Yeah, she was incredible. She's tough. She'd go through all the blackberries. Didn't matter anything. Like that's awesome. This is the coolest dog ever.
Yeah, my uncle's dog just the other day did that. Like he was just bleeding. I think he tore his ear open on barbed wire, and he just go and ear. Like, ears bleed.
Yeah. You guys know that.
Ears bleed.
Clearly.
Trump 2024. Yeah. Ears bleed. And I guess it was just bleeding like a sieve, and he just wouldn't stop. And it was like he went into some barbed wire, saw it kind of happen, was like, okay, looked at him, everything was good. And then all of a sudden he's running around, and like an hour later he's looking, he's just leaking. He was like, oh shit. And like had to like try and stop it. And but he just didn't want to stop hunting.
Yeah.
Dogs are so cool.
They are.
Dogs are so cool.
They make it so much better. Like, I'm not here to shoot the birds. I'm here to watch the dogs retrieve the birds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is good because I'm not a very good shotgun shooter. So
Anyway.
I'm calling P-break.
P-break. All right,
P-break.
cool.
P-break.
Almost to it,
Sweat
dude.
over
You know?
there.
Yeah. Well, the only hunting I've done this year is duck hunting. Like, I haven't gone out for anything else. So, like, all I'm thinking
pheasant?
about is, bird hunting.
Under the umbrella of bird.
Yeah, so when I think of like that, I think of like snacks and constantly eating in a blind. So yeah, soup weather is upon
Slayed
us.
a bunch of Butterfinger.
I could go for like the pit blinds in the South where they have like a full kitchen and stuff.
They're
like,
making pancakes and
yes,
stuff.
I
and
could
then-
go for that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way to do it. Like, it's like we have little stoves and
Needs
stuff,
like
and
a
it's like
mini green egg.
Well, they have them. They have like
do they?
Oh, dude, they're like this big. You could totally do something, but it's like it makes more sense just to pack stuff in and keep it warm. So like thermoses are about to be bought. You know what I mean? Like
I
When
made
you-
chili for dinner last night. It was so
I was
good.
just gonna say, yeah, we're back.
Chilly
a lot-
weather.
It's also chilly weather.
But I think that's something like the leaves are turning. It's pretty. Everyone's like, ooh, the fall. But like some of my best memories are like during elk hunting rifle and it's Halloween and you're in the middle of the woods and you got a fire going. You bring a couple pumpkins for festivities, but it's like that old school mentality of someone wearing the red and black flannel. Like it takes you back to like an era or a time of thinking of being in the woods and hunting in that fall. It's iconic. I mean, how many postage stamps, covers of magazines, famous paintings are like scenery like that? And it's be
very
a hunter.
Norman Rockwell Americana-ish.
Yeah.
The guy in the plaid flannel jacket with the plaid flannel
Fred
hat.
Bear out there
Sleeping.
just-
with the big buck walking by. Yeah.
Yeah. But as a hunter, it's like most people, you'll see those pretty scenes on a magazine or in a painting. But when you get to go out there and push yourself, it's like you can drive to nice places, but it usually takes a little effort. But you get to see these vantage points, these views that are what paintings are. And you get to physically do it. Something as much as doing just rifles and shooting, that's one thing. But where it takes you and doing these hobbies, you get to see a lot of cool stuff doing it.
And my favorite thing about it is it takes you off trail. Because if I'm hiking, I have zero interest in going hiking to walk along a trail.
But it also
as soon as it's like, all right, I want to go check that spine, and then we'll look into that bowl, and if we want to, and get up on top of it, and all you have to guide you is contour lines on a topo map. That's what I enjoy. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I guess I don't know why I like being like the difference to me between hiking on trail and busting brush off trail is I don't want to do this is the most fun thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes to what Jordan said, and we said it a lot during hunting. It's like it's very hard to go in Washington State and be in an area where someone hasn't walked before.
Yeah.
And the places that you can go where it feels like less people have walked here, it's not like it's holy or magical, but it is like
is.
It's adventurous.
Yeah.
being in a place that hasn't been touched, although I don't know that I ever have, the more it feels like that, the better it feels. The more in the moment I feel in places like that.
Yeah.
I can be on the freeway and I'm zoned out, and then all of a sudden I'm at work and I'm like, oh, okay, fuck, like here we go.
Yeah.
But there's never been a time where I've been up in a mountain or like off of a trail. I've been on trails and kind of done that, where
That's
you
true,
space
yeah.
out and you're walking. And it's like, oh, okay, and then you look
One
at this
foot
view.
20
Yeah.
minutes later. Yeah.
And then, but when you're beating brush down, or you're kind of doing your thing and trying
Creeping.
to find
You're
the
very present
spot,
every step.
like everything, you're there and you're like looking at the
You're
things on
looking-
the ground, you're looking at things in the trees, you're taking your time, you're breathing. Like that is awesome. That to me is like the most therapeutic thing you can do in the world.
It's living in the moment with all of your senses.
Yeah.
No.
It's crazy thinking about being in the moment, because it's like, yeah, out there you're in the moment, but you feel like you come back here and maybe you're not in the moment. But when you're preparing for a hunt, I feel like you're putting your kit together, You're making sure all your shit's clean, your gear's ready to go. And I don't feel like I just wander on the trail doing that. I feel like when I'm getting ready for a hunt, I'm very in the moment. Yeah. And it's because of the hunt is what puts me in that moment. I might not be hunting, but thinking of that, you should just check out. Was that a gun?
Yeah, was that a gun? I saw that. Was that a gun check?
No.
Are they? Hang on. Are they loaded?
I had
Yeah, hang on.
Holy shit! Look, guys.
You got those on safety, right?
Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't.
Those look steel core lined. I'll put that out there.
I appreciate
chromium line.
I appreciate that. You sons of bitches. I'm just over here. I have my arm up. Do that. These motherfuckers.
I saw him go like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you fuck nuts.
Living in the moment.
Well, so my big thing too,
doing
like
the bull dance,
in right now,
feeling it.
It's cool to be in the woods during like late hunts too, because people are not out there. Like the fair weather hikers do not fuck around with the woods, and you can all of a sudden feel like what it felt like at one point in the summer. Like I remember growing up and not seeing people. Yeah. And now you see, I mean,
there's people everywhere.
There's people everywhere, but like it's cool to be able to go out in the woods and not have to worry about your car getting broken into. I don't know if you guys are that paranoid, but I
am.
Like, just having that thought of just like, oh, there's so many fucking people here. Like, I always talk about like being able to get somewhere with a Honda Civic is just trouble. So when you kind of go to places that are off the beaten path a little bit,
take a RAV4.
Just have, exactly. Well, when you go somewhere where you can't get there easily, like all of a sudden there's less people. But when
took me a second to get that.
Take extra effort to get there.
When the weather also is there, that does the same thing.
Well, I heard
people do not want to go out there.
I heard, so this has got to be fact, but in Washington State, the rifle elk season used to be more towards the middle of November. But so many hunters were getting stranded and snowed in, like with RVs and cars, and they were having to rescue them. That's the reason why they pushed back the rifle elk season is due to people being far in the woods and not being prepared.
It crossed my mind. I think it was Wednesday night. It started to snow on me, and I moved my truck to make sure that, like, if it kept snowing through the night, that I'd be able to get onto the main road in the morning. But you're right. A lot of people probably don't think of that or have a big, stupid RV out there and they're completely fucked.
Well, it's that time of year where the seasons really are shifting. You could get that earlier season snow and it can be very surprising to some people.
Well, it was one year. It was extremely surprising to me because we went out and again, I hunted a lot with my dad. And my dad was a heavy equipment operator and he's like a hot rod guy and like, 8-second rigs, like 9-second rigs. So he can drive. When he gets worried, which I haven't seen but one time in my life behind a wheel, we were hunting and then all of a sudden it started snowing and I set up a tarp so we had something to be underneath as we're trying to glass. And it kept snowing and kept getting worse. And at first it was fog, and then the snow started rolling in, and I was like, oh, son of a bitch! Like, let's go back real quick. And we were in Iniat, and there's some hills up there that are
dust and mud covered already.
Steep motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Actually, part coming out Thursday morning, there were parts where I was like, I hope there's not another truck coming up because I can control the speed, but I cannot stop.
Yeah. So we were doing that and working our way out of this mountain range, or hill range, whatever you want to call it. And the roads are kind of sloped a little bit, and we're in a diesel truck that's not necessarily a 4-wheel drive, like
heavy as
go-getter,
shit too. Yeah.
Right. And with the stiff back springs for pulling shit. And the ass end of the truck starts sliding towards the edge, and we're just kind of, And I was the passenger, and I'm looking at the edge of this, and then I'm looking at my dad, and he's like, fuck. And I was like, oh my God, we're gonna roll. We're dying today. Today we die. And finally, we got back down to the bottom. But to what you were saying about people getting stuck, there was a fucking RV up there, or a fifth wheel up there. And it was like, those guys are stuck here until spring. Like, they're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And we get to almost the very bottom, and I start relaxing finally after an hour's drive out of these hills. Oh, my goodness. And there's these guys coming up, and they're like, yeah, we had to go get chains. We're going to go grab our fifth wheel. And I was like, the fuck you are, dude. Luck. Like, and navigate back down this. It was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And they probably did. But
have I ever told you my idea for an ice anchor? And I think this is $1 million idea, patenting it right here.
Timestamp
it. But if you had if you were towing something and you're coming down an icy road, I've thought about this. If you could have an anchor type thing, like on a rope or a chain,
drag.
Yeah, tied to the back of your RV,
like a grappling hook.
It'll slow you down, but it'll also keep your ass straight.
Or boat anchor.
So
you need an anchor that you can drop off the back of your RV.
But not just
is what
one
you're
at
saying.
the end. You
with
need
a spring-loaded thing that's like playing out
like
rope
Batman.
behind it. Yeah, exactly.
Look.
Because I've seen
at every corner you have to drop like hardware that has a pulley on it, so that you can make the angle around the corner.
It'll take
on belay.
It takes 8 hours to set up, but it's worth it.
There's a deer right there in that field.
Oh, yeah. They sit there and laugh at us.
Yeah.
They come down and drink out of the lake.
Oh, that's neat.
Those are HOA deer.
Yeah, it's like those. The one I got.
Me and Tobin, first time me and Tobin went hunting together, we stopped in Leavenworth.
Right? Yeah.
It was a beautiful 4x4.
Two of them.
Massive. Mm-hmm. Like massive.
In the lumber store parking lot.
Two of them. Only deer we saw the whole trip.
Yep. We saw a couple does.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw probably.
But we knew it. We were
does.
stopping to get like a couple gallons of drinking water and a coffee, and it's like, you know what this means? We're not going to. It's
going to be awesome.
Goddamn thing.
That was my thought. I was like,
yeah, this is a sign. This is a sign.
There's 4 points everywhere over here.
Yeah.
It's going to be the best trip ever.
No, we should have fucking knocked him out, hit him with the car, and drug him up there.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible.
Yeah, and I froze my ass off that trip. That was a cold fucking trip.
Yeah, it was. Didn't snow, didn't rain, but it was cold.
It was like 15 degrees the whole time.
When we go to Idaho, we have had it where it's like 3 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really cold.
Yeah. That's where the onesie comes out.
Yeah.
That hunting onesie. Oh,
you just
perfect.
put your arms and legs through your sleeping bag.
Yeah.
It's got holes.
Yeah, that's actually. He was laughing at me because I was in my sleeping bag while we were sitting on our morning spot.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, fucking staying warm.
Yeah. I made him flip it inside out though.
Showing up to the whole world. Yeah. Some neon sleeping bag.
Blue. It's blue, all right?
Yeah. Huge hunter orange
I don't
bag.
think deer can see fucking. Yeah, exactly. We're wearing orange vests. Who cares about the blue sleeping bag?
I was like, they see in the color spectrum blue. They see blue. You need to. That's their color spectrum. Flip it inside out. He did.
Yeah, that's good. He walked away, and I was like, "Is he fucking with me?" I was like, "God damn it, just in case."
Yeah, I would wear so much clothes like into the hunting spot. I'd be so hot and sweaty, and then I'd be like having to sit in one place for like 5-6 hours, and I'm just like, oh, I can't feel my toes. It sucks.
Yeah,
dude. The hardest thing about hunting is walking up, being cold, like starting like uncomfortable, and
you don't want to do it.
This sucks.
Yeah.
It's like jumping into a cold shower, or like a cold plunge, right? It's like you have to be cold when you go.
Yes.
When you start.
Otherwise, you'll be cold for the rest of the time, and that's way worse.
Way worse.
So much worse.
You get out of the truck after you're sitting in a nice hot truck, and then you're like, all right, well, it's kind of chilly out here. I'm putting everything on. You start hiking.
Yeah, cozy.
It's like, fuck, it's getting kind of sweaty. Whatever. I'll change out up there. Bullshit.
That's why it's nice to have a destination, like somewhere like you got those short shorts and t-shirt on, and you hop out of that cab and you just book it. Be like, this is my hunt spot.
Did we mention that Ben hunted in shorts the entire week we were out there?
No, he hikes in shorts and then he puts on his clothes.
Oh, did he have pants?
Yeah.
I never saw him wearing pants.
He wore pants on top of.
You guys didn't see anything, huh?
It's like a P Diddy freak off on the top of some ridge, dude. Just a bunch of baby oil. Where are your pants? These are my hunting shorts.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
But being able to,
These white legs attract them.
yeah, dude. No, probably not. Not in those burns.
Yeah, you're right.
What was it? Did you just big old boots sticking up?
Yeah, he had like the knee-high socks and the boots and
Hiking boots and
the short
But
shorts.
he
Just
was
some basketball shorts.
He said, he's like, I hate sweating all my shit, my underwear, all this stuff, hiking up, because
that's
I'm
legit.
just going to sweat
That's
with
legit.
the huge backpack on because I'm staying here for a couple days. So he just puts on shorts.
Makes himself at home.
Yeah. So he puts on shorts and hikes up and then takes it off and puts on all his hunting gear. But then he wears it back down.
I would love to see a picture of somebody with like having killed something on, like 3-4 miles back wearing shorts.
Oh, I got a picture of Ben last year doing that. He got a 4-point, and he's in shorts and a long johns with his
awesome.
hiking boots on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Backpacking's fun. It's a different. I started. I didn't grow up hunting. I was a fisherman. My dad fished and stuff like that, and I crabbed. But when I turned 30, I just wanted to hunt. There was something like, we had animals and stuff and had a little farm, but I was like, God, something about hunting seems interesting and fun. I want to do it. And so I started going with a friend and his dad, and it was traditional elk camp. This is where we set up. We stay here. We hunt around this area, walk out every morning if you want, get in your car and drive to another spot. But like backpack hunting is a whole new animal. It's just, you're so far removed from everyone else, and you do feel more opportunity in obscurity for random things to happen. Yeah, you guys were at like the hardware store and a bunch of 4-points walked up, but it's probably just going to be those 4 points. The opportunity for an elk to walk through, a moose to walk through, a bunch of deer to walk through, a bear to walk through, and what you've seen up there, I don't know, it's a different animal.
It's adventure.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Me and my dad backpacked, and we were bear hunting in the summer.
Nice.
And I missed a bear the morning. I mean, it was a very obvious miss, so we didn't go tromping around to find it or whatever. We had it on video, so it was very confirmed. So anyways, we went hiking around the rest of the day.
Were you shooting? Huh? Whose barrel were you shooting?
We're not going to talk about that. And so, user error. It was 820 yards, and I missed by like 5 inches. So.
I turned trans.
Hey,
at 700 yards. So
5 inches is plenty.
Yeah.
It was a clean miss.
Yeah, that's a confirmed kill, actually.
So anyways, we were hiking around and looking for bear, and we came across mountain goats at like 50 yards.
Oh.
It was so cool because the sun was shining, and we come
So
up.
I started blasting.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like the sun was shining on these rocks, and it was so bright. And all of a sudden, one of the rocks is moving, and I'm like, "That's a mountain goat." My dad's like, "Where?" I was like, "Right in front of you." Like, how are you missing this? Yeah. It was just so cool. Like one of those things that you just come upon because you're backpacking up in the mountains where nobody else is going.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, those memories stick with you forever.
Forever.
And
Absolutely.
it's the original NFT. You know what I mean? Like you own it.
Yeah.
It's yours.
Yes.
It's yours.
You know what's funny is I wish now that I had taken more pictures on deployments during the war. And at that time, my attitude was like, I have the memory. What the fuck do I want a picture for?
You want the pictures.
Yeah.
Take the pictures.
Absolutely.
Take the pictures.
I'm all about the pictures.
Yeah, I think that makes I'm trying to take as many pictures as I can as I'm getting older because it's just like, shit. And I did it when I was younger. Hey, there it is.
Speaking of pictures.
I tried in college too, and like you look back and like see memories, and every once in a while I'll get a text like, "Hey, do you got a picture of this?" It's like that's kind of cool to be able to pull up a memory. And
I live in the opposite theory.
really,
I don't take pictures. I didn't even
a purist.
He's a mentalist.
Senior year wasn't in the yearbook, nor was I junior, freshman, and sophomore because
he's a ghost.
I didn't care. Because it's like I do feel a little bit.
Spicoli, we know all about your high school.
This is my skull.
No, but you talk about being in the moment, and so many times I see people on their phone. And like, if someone actually had a real camera that they brought up for photography, cool. Take all the pictures you want because you're in the moment with that. That opportunity to me for a phone to become not only pictures but being on it, even though you don't get.
You don't want to
service.
experience the memory through a phone,
Right.
No,
And that is something that happens often, and I will 100% agree with that.
You see everybody standing with their phones, and you're like, none of you
Bunch
guys
of
are
tools. None of you
are taking it
experiencing
in.
this.
None of you are taking it in.
Yeah, a bunch of
But
automatons.
taking a moment to
And-
snap a photo is a good thing because that photo can remind you of the experience down the road.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it's not a necessarily, it doesn't have to be a good photo or this or that, but it is cool to like be able to scroll through some photos or like look, even better, print out your pictures.
Oh, I
Put
do
it
that
in
all the time.
Yeah, bind it up, like have it somewhere where you can look at it. A physical copy, you set it on a freaking table, and like that is amazing. That's the best. And then you can sit there and have stories about every single photo. It's
Here's where I didn't get
You're
a
writing a
deer.
book.
Here's where I didn't get a deer. There's where I didn't get a deer.
yeah, and it might be the same and repetitive, but you know,
When I was
it is my book to write.
right.
How come all these hunting pictures are just you in your tent?
Who's in the shorts?
When I was a kid, we would go over to Idaho grouse hunting, and at the end of our grouse hunting trip, on like the last day, we had this like cabin. It was a house. It had a TV and stuff. We'd plug in the USB and put our SD cards into it and look at all the pictures that everybody took over the weekend. And that was like a really fun thing that we all got to do. You know, oh, you weren't here, but you got, you know, this is what I got to see or whatever.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
That's awesome. And actually, hang on. I got to say, grouse. I need to start carrying a 22 pistol with me because I could have had a grouse feast while I was elk hunting.
That's
I
a
must have come
missed
across
opportunity.
That
a dozen
area
of
is
them,
full of them.
but all I had on me was a 300 Win Mag.
I mean,
So,
Well, you know,
hey, listen, we all know
what's the problem?
Jordan Creek once upon a time took down a grouse with a 300. But yeah, I was wishing I had a 22 pistol on me.
Yeah. I have
Slingshot.
I own one Keltec. I will admit it. But I tested it. Yeah. It's the P17. It holds like, I don't remember how many rounds, but it's all plastic, so you can't ruin it. And it's like $200, so you don't really care if you ruin it. You just go buy a new one. And it actually is reliable, has a threaded barrel on it, is, in my opinion, the best little grouse gun ever.
Interesting.
And it's small.
I actually
I
have,
love it.
I have a really nice 22 pistol that was my granddad's. It's a high standard.
Oh, yeah.
And my question is, where do you go to get a holster for something that's not in wide distribution like that?
Probably just buy an Uncle Mike's.
Oh, like
One
a
of the
soft
nylon
floppy.
ones.
I'll
Not the
make you one.
Make one, dude.
Yeah, or you make one, yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. I got
All right.
cheats.
Kydex?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Oh, cool.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Time to meet some local lesbians at the leather making class around here
There we go.
and make a holster
Yeah.
for yourself.
Out of
I'll
force.
tell you what, brother.
Yeah.
You 5 doors down, you'll find one.
Yeah.
It's like 3 doors down.
Go 3, not 5. You don't want to know what happens there. Come back with a holster.
Yeah, that's a good call. Because I wished
Yeah.
I had my 22 pistol with me on that elk trip because it was like grouse after grouse after grouse. And at some point I realized I could have had a pretty big feast on fresh grouse had I had
So
a
good.
smaller fucking weapon.
I was on an elk hunt, and the guys that were out there had this, like, basically 2 guys were hunting grouse. Everybody else was hunting elk.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
they filled everybody's tag with grouse.
Wow.
It was ridiculous.
That's awesome.
So there is a pile of grouse.
Oh, shit.
And it was so fucking good. And we literally...
You know what? I'm bringing a 22 when you go on your late deer hunt.
Yeah. We got just filled up on grouse. And the guy used like this lemon kind of a thing. And he was like, as I'm getting older, I just realized like, if you think it's done, it's done. Just take it off. And if it's a little raw, it's a little raw. Oh. And I was like, and as
don't let him cook you bare.
Oh, it was so good.
So I'm okay with that with steak, and that's about it.
Yeah.
It was so good. The guy cooked it perfect, but he was just like, I met this guy. I'm up at this gate. We're all going
I showed him my biceps. Yeah. He was in short shorts.
My hunting partner bailed on me, and these guys were like, hey, come down to our camp, and and next thing you know, we're at their camp, and I'm flexing and he's cooking. No, they had a bunch of elk burgers and just they were being super cool. Like it was really fun. And they had a fucking literal pile of meat from grouse. And
shit.
It was so friggin' good.
That's like what we would do. Oh, so good.
Yeah. But yeah, I after that I got a was it the Ruger
you have a nice
1045.
The 2245.
The 2245. I got that with a suppressor.
A great one. Yeah.
And that's what I used for grouse after that. Because it's like,
it's a cool 2-foot gun.
I'm throwing fucking arrows at. Dude, it's you know what?
They're accurate.
I'll do that.
Slingshot. Slingshot, guys.
I had it on the range, and we put a Vortex red dot on it, and that thing was like tight groups at 35, 40 yards.
Yeah, it's a grouse killer, dude. That was my grouse getter because I was spending.
You took that for archery that one year.
Yeah, I took. Yeah. But I was shooting them with arrows, and it's
I mean, when you came with me, to Dan's spot first, I remember you had that out, but you didn't have anywhere to put it. You just put it's like this
right behind my thing.
It's like, is that touching your dick? Yeah. that muzzle's got to be.
Yeah, I need to make a holster for that as well.
Yeah,
because I was just like, this is fine. I'll shove it behind there. But the ability to shoot grouse,
pull it out and pop
without having to make loud noises. I mean, obviously a bow is prime time.
Slingshot.
But if you launch a bow and you shoot your arrow off the side of a mountain, that was $10, $20, $40, right?
That's why you always use your shitty arrows as your.
Well, I do. I use my beat up ones,
point.
And I put the blunt tips on, but it's still expensive. It's still, you're losing. It's like, damn it.
I lost a $20 arrow at your spot. Trying to shoot a grouse.
It's the worst.
That's an expensive little birdie.
Oh, yeah.
With a broadhead or with a target head?
Small game. The first one I completely missed, lost my arrow. The second one shot his tail off and got my arrow. Okay. Great story.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tell it again.
Yeah, hang on. Let's go back. Oh man. I don't know.
They live for this.
Who?
The people.
All 14.
Grouse talk.
Grouse talk.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm going to say that if you're enjoying the show, give us a review on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you're listening, because again, there's more than 14 listeners and there's only 40 some reviews.
Are we being suppressed?
I think so.
Is this Big Brother?
It is.
It's Big Pod.
Big Pod is holding us down for our original ideas.
Grouse piles. Grouse piles and short shorts are like, no common man can hear this and be okay. We have to suppress this.
Yeah. And so Kourtney and I are teaching ladies only beginner pistol lessons. We've got one coming up in December, and now I think a second one is tentatively scheduled for November. So that is another sort of service that's on the table from Training Northwest. And this started as her just being, she wanted to schedule a ladies only pistol class for her church friends. Yes, of course. And then just the other day, a friend hit me up and said, hey, I have a few girlfriends who would like to take a beginner's ladies day only, very beginner level pistol course. And I said, hey, funny you ask, because I know just the person to hire as an assistant, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's something else that we're now adding to the repertoire at Training Northwest. So if that's something that interests you guys, ladies only pistol courses, largely instructed by Kourtney. I'll be out there on the range for safety purposes, just as an extra eye. And
Can I say something?
Are you signing up for ladies only? We're gonna have to talk.
No
You gotta
identifying.
Prove it.
I think the ladies class is a wonderful idea. I've throughout years of doing jujitsu, it's rare you get women in there, but and we did it at our gym, and other gyms have done it where they do ladies only classes, and I think it's a lot easier for women to get involved in things that seem maybe a little bit more masculine, or where there's a bunch of dumb dicks running around.
Right.
Like they want to remove themselves.
Why do you look at us?
And I think I've seen a lot of people do those and then immerse themselves in it. And I think it's cool that you provide space for other women to do that and to, comfortable. And I mean, it's a really good tool for getting people involved in just self-defense, into a hobby, into a friend group.
Yeah.
And
Protect your boyfriends and husbands.
Yeah. So no, kudos. I think that's very cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I get a lot of people talk to me. Oh, my husband has one in the house, and I want to feel comfortable and be able to use it and not be scared and stuff like that. And I'm just so excited to help them get past that, because
power your fellow woman. Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oftentimes I think you'll end up giving more knowledge to the wife or the lady,
because they're willing to receive it.
Yes.
Listen.
Right. Yes.
That's one of the key differences between women and men, is they're open to receiving instruction. And you can't, I was just going to say, I've run a few ladies only courses in the past. And for me, it's much easier because they listen and they just go, okay, this is how you do it. And their shot groups are all really tight because they listen, and they don't have this ego chip on their shoulder that says, well, I've been hunting since I was 14 years old. I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's so much easier to walk them through the steps. And it's like,
and learning from another woman, I think, is really beneficial to a lot of ladies. Like, they're like, oh, my husband took me shooting and I just, I can't learn from him or whatever. Like, I heard stuff like that when I worked at the gun counter all the time too.
Hang on.
Let me mansplain to you what's happening.
Yeah, let me tell you.
I do have some experience. I do have some experience with this.
Okay.
Which is that the very first ladies only course I ran, my now ex-wife was on the firing line, and I hired my friend Josh, the guy who owns the CrossFit gym, because he's a retired sheriff, so he knows his way around the firing range. And his wife was on the firing line, and he came over to me right at the beginning of the class. He goes, "Hey man, if you'll go down and work with Casey, I'll work with Jennifer, because if I try to work, she's not going to listen to a fucking word I say." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's brilliant," because Jen doesn't want to listen to a fucking word I have to say. So yeah, exactly. And we split the firing line based on where our wives were and us being on the opposite ends.
A gentleman's agreement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
So Kourtney will be teaching this.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah,
That's
and
fucking right.
I'm excited for
I'm
it.
excited.
You're going to be great at this. This is going to be something we will do frequently going forward. I already know, because the people. It's one of those, like, if you build it, they will come type deals. We've built it. We are building it. They're going to. I have
people asking me often, like, where can I get? I sent a couple people to you, and a couple of my buddies' wives, and my buddies are all pissed off. Like, they're like, "Bro, why don't we go out there?" It's like,
why is she talking to me about my offhand grip?
Yeah, yeah. It's so wrong.
When your wife comes home and tells you that your offhand grip sucks, it's time for you to come out to a class too, brother.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah. All right, we'll end it right there. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Kourtney, for coming in.
Thanks for having me.